Imagine working 40 hours every week, but never getting ahead. You pay your bills and watch your bank account drain. The system wants you feeling rich on payday, but broke tomorrow. You are stuck waiting for the next check just to survive. They give you the illusion of freedom while keeping you trapped. But the wealthiest 1% of people operate completely differently. They do not just earn a salary and spend it all. They buy things that increase in value while they are sleeping. Therefore, if you want to escape, you must change your strategy, because managing your money incorrectly is exactly what keeps you poor. This frustrating cycle can happen to anyone, regardless of income. You might make great money, but still feel totally trapped. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to fix this. We are going to break down the 25-50-10 rule. This is the exact framework the wealthiest people use every day. It does not matter if you are starting with $0. This specific system works for anyone who is willing to start. By the end of this video, you will know every single step, and you will have a clear plan to finally build real wealth. So let us dive straight into how this actually works. The biggest lie we are told is about how money works. Society teaches us to go to work and earn a paycheck, but almost everyone spends their entire paycheck on basic survival needs. Food and shelter take up everything you just worked so hard for. This leaves absolutely zero breathing room at the end of the month. You are forced to work even harder just to maintain your life. But the richest people do not play by these same rules. Entrepreneurs own businesses, and investors own assets that constantly grow. If you do not own something, then you are what is owned. Therefore, you have to start buying things that actually make you money. This is where the 25-50-10 rule changes everything. It is a simple formula to allocate every dollar you make. The secret is not really about how much money you earn. It is entirely about how you manage the money you make. Most people blow their extra cash on things they will forget, but you are going to give every dollar a specific job. You will divide your income into 4 completely separate, powerful categories. This creates a balanced system that protects you from financial ruin. It allows you to build a massive net worth over time, and it still lets you enjoy your life guilt-free today. The most important category is the first 25%. This portion of your income goes directly towards your financial growth. This is the money that goes out and works for you. You use this cash to buy things that increase in value. The goal is to accumulate assets that put money in your pocket. While you are working, your assets are growing quietly in the background. Eventually, these investments can replace the income from your daily job. But most people think they do not have enough to start investing. They wait until they feel rich before they ever buy an asset. But waiting is the most expensive mistake you could possibly make. Let me show you exactly why starting early is so critical. Imagine a young guy named Billy who starts investing at 20. He only puts away $200 every single month. Now imagine another guy named Phil who waits until he is 30. Phil tries to catch up by investing $300 monthly. They both stop investing completely when they reach 60 years old. Billy put in a total of $96,000 over time. Phil actually invested $108,000 in total. You would naturally think Phil ended up with much more money, but the math tells a completely different and shocking story. Assuming a 10% annual return, things look very different. Phil ends up with roughly $678,000. That is a solid return for starting 10 years too late. But Billy ends up with over $1.2 million. Billy invested $12,000 less than his friend Phil did, but he walked away with nearly $600,000 more. That is the unbelievable power of compound growth over long periods. This is why you must find the money to start investing now. Even if the amount is small, you cannot afford to delay, because time is the greatest multiplier your money will ever have. The next step is selecting the right assets for your growth. There are many ways to invest, but they carry different risks. The safest place for most beginners is broadly diversified index funds. You are simply buying a tiny slice of the entire stock market. You do not need to check charts or constantly monitor the news. It just sits there and quietly builds your wealth over time. You can also invest in real estate or high-income skills. Learning a skill like coding or sales brings massive returns fast. Once you have a high-income skill, nobody can take it away. But you must avoid gambling on individual stocks or risky assets. Knowing what to buy is only half of the investment battle. You also have to know exactly where to hold your investments. If you use the wrong account, you will lose thousands to taxes. That is why you must open a tax-advantaged investment account. In the United States, the Roth IRA is an absolute gold mine. Every single penny it earns grows completely tax-free forever. When you retire, you can pull that money out without paying taxes. Even billionaires use these specific accounts to shield their massive wealth. You can also use a retirement plan through your regular workplace. The money goes in before taxes and grows without being taxed. If your employer offers a match, you must absolutely take it. This is literally free money added directly to your retirement account. Skipping the employer match is like throwing a bonus away entirely. In other countries, there are similar tax-free investment accounts available. You can invest a large portion of your income completely tax-free. But opening the account is not the final step of the process. Millions of people open these accounts and never actually buy anything. They just let the cash sit there, losing value to inflation. Therefore, you must actively select the funds to buy each month. And the smartest way to do this is by automating everything. You should set up a transfer that happens automatically on payday. The money moves to your investment account before you can spend it. The easiest strategy is building a simple 3-fund investment portfolio. First, you buy a total US stock market index fund for growth. Second, you add an international index fund to diversify your holdings. Finally, you add a bond fund to provide stability during market drops. Bonds are like lending money to the government for a guaranteed return. You can set the percentages based on your age and risk tolerance. Once this is running automatically, your only job is making more money. You stop fiddling with the account and let the machine work. But investing all your extra money is actually a massive mistake. You must protect your investments by building a strong stability fund. This is where the next 15% of your income belongs. Most people do not actually have a money problem in life. They have a stability problem that destroys them when emergencies hit. Imagine taking out a loan to buy a nice, reliable car. 3 months later, the engine completely blows up without any warning. If you have no cash saved, you are forced into terrible debt. Or worse, you have to sell your investments at a massive loss. Therefore, you need a margin of error built into your daily life. First, you need to calculate exactly how much stability you need. Write down your absolute core expenses, like rent, food, and utilities. Multiply that monthly baseline number by 5 full months of living. This total is your target stability fund that keeps you bulletproof. Next, you must store this money in the correct type of account. It must be easy to access within 24 hours maximum. When emergencies strike, you need incredible speed, not a waiting period. It must also carry absolutely zero risk of losing its value. Never put your emergency cash into the stock market or crypto, but it should still earn money in a high-yield savings account. You can build this fund much faster using 3 simple tactics. First, use the paycheck sweep to move 15% immediately, automatically. Second, make a strict promise to replace whatever you take out. If you spend $200 on car repairs, you replace it instantly. Third, use digital apps that round up your purchases to save change. It sounds incredibly small, but it adds up surprisingly fast over time. You can also channel all your credit card cashback into this fund. Once this account is fully stocked, you will feel completely different. You stop fearing unexpected bills because you already have the cash ready. Then you can redirect that 15% into even more investments. The next 50% of your income covers your actual essentials. This is the money that feeds your body and not your ego. Surprisingly, over 60% of high earners live paycheck to paycheck. They make over $100,000 but save absolutely nothing. This happens because they are desperately trying to look wealthy today. They buy massive houses and finance expensive cars they cannot afford. But looking rich is the exact thing that stops you becoming rich. You must keep your housing and transportation costs aggressively low. Do not let your lifestyle inflate every time you get a raise. Keep your basic survival costs under half of your total income. If you follow this system, you will have 10% remaining. This final 10% is your unrestricted, guilt-free spending money. You must spend this money on things that actually bring you joy. Building wealth is completely useless if you hate your daily life. You can use this for vacations, nice dinners, or fun hobbies. Spend it on experiences that you will actually remember forever. Because you have already secured your future and protected your downside, this system ensures you are responsible without living in absolute misery. It removes the guilt from spending because the rules are clear. You are managing your money exactly like the top 1% does. Let us look at how this feels once everything is running. You wake up on payday and everything happens without your input. 25% immediately buys assets that compound your future wealth. 15% automatically reinforces your impenetrable wall of financial stability. 50% comfortably covers your rent, food, and basic daily needs. And 10% sits in your checking account waiting for the weekend. You never have to stare at your bank app with absolute dread. You never panic when your mechanic calls with a terrible repair estimate. This is what true financial freedom actually feels like in reality. It is not about buying yachts, it is about buying your peace. The 25-15-50-10 rule is incredibly simple to start. You just divide your income and let the percentages do the work. You prioritize growth first because that buys your ultimate freedom back. You prioritize stability second because that protects you from falling backwards. You keep your essentials low so the system actually has breathing room. And you spend the rest guilt-free to enjoy the journey today. So, what is the exact first step you must take right now? Sit down today and look at your last 3 months of expenses. Find out exactly what percentage of your income is going to essentials. If it is over 50%, you have to ruthlessly cut back. Log into your bank and set up your first automatic transfer today. Send just $50 to an investment account to prove it works. You do not need to wait until you have thousands of dollars. You just need to start building the mechanical habit of investing regularly. The system will naturally scale up as your income grows over time. Every dollar you invest today is a soldier fighting for your future. But if you spend it all, you are leaving your future defenseless. This framework is the exact difference between staying broke and building wealth. It takes discipline at the beginning, but becomes effortless after a month. You can literally change your family trajectory by setting this up tonight. It is never too late to start applying this exact financial math. Whether you are 20 or 50, the math works exactly the same. Stop letting the banking system dictate exactly how you live your life. Take back control of your paycheck by giving every dollar a job. Once you build this machine, you will never stress about money again. You will finally own the assets instead of being the asset yourself. The wealthiest people understand this perfectly, and now you understand it too. Wealth is not built by your salary, but by what you manage. Protect your time, protect your money, and protect your future peace. Because the only person coming to save your finances is actually you.